Hello again, I am Blunty, and in a lot of my content, regardless of what it is about, whether it be an issue or a product or whatever, and whether or not I'm working from a script or ad-libbing, I know I tend to go on a bit. People accuse me of talking too much, which has always struck me as ridiculous, particularly in product reviews, where I'm trying to deliver as much useful information about the product as possible. How can there be too much information about a product that you're considering buying? That's not the issue I'm talking about today. This is not the question I'm asking. The question I'm asking is, why are you so bad at YouTube? And the issue I'm talking about is people leaving comments before they've even finished watching the video. And I'm not talking about those of you out there who leave those nice little comments going, oh, I'm early to the video, or hey, I always enjoy your stuff, or oh, I've been hoping you'd talk about this, or oh, I always enjoy your take on the issues, or oh, I like it, whatever it is. These little non-specific compliments or comments about the type of content or whatever it is. I don't mind that sort of stuff. The first stuff, if you've ever typed first on one of my videos, nobody anywhere has ever seen it, because my videos always go up with comments on hold from the start. And when those first comments come in, I delete them. Nobody ever sees them, because that comment is not about me. It's not about my content. It's not about what drew you here. It's not about anything but you. And that I find is a bit rude, because all you're doing is coming to my video, coming to my content. You're not even paying attention to it. And all you're doing is like, look at me, 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 pay attention to me, notice me, notice me, notice me. And I find that a little bit rude. I have softened on that approach slightly and have left comments behind these days that, say, notification squad or something like that, because that feels, a little bit more genuine. You're excited to get to the video rather than excited to be seen as first. It's a very fine distinction there, but it's there for me. But no, the comments I'm talking about that people leave before watching the video are the corrective comments. And this happened a lot in yesterday's video, but it's been happening for my entire YouTube existence. And the reason that these type of comments just sort of, well, they don't make me angry. They don't make me depressed. They don't really get under my skin. They just make me a bit disappointed in humanity in general. Perhaps that might be a bit broad, but it's just kind of, it's exasperating. It's boring. It's annoying's not even the word for it. It makes me feel pity for people out there who are just leading lives like that. But I deal with these comments in a couple of different ways. A lot of the time I just delete it, so it doesn't distract other people, so it doesn't make them think I said something I didn't say, or didn't say something I actually did say, because that's always the case when like in yesterday's video. I mentioned about halfway through the video, well, the developer said this. But because these people commented before they got to that part of the video, they've gone, well, actually, the developer already said this. I know. I mentioned it in my video. I spent a couple of minutes talking about that in my video. If you bothered to watch it, you wouldn't have had to try and correct me and made yourself look like an absolute fucking clown. And on the occasion, I don't just delete that comment so it doesn't distract from the actual real conversation people who are paying attention to the topic want to have, or want to say about the issue. I will sometimes engage them and say, well, why don't you try watching the video before commenting? Or why don't you try watching videos you leave comments on so you don't look like an absolute idiot? Words to those effect. Most of the time, they never respond after that because they're embarrassed. Some of the time, they go back and retroactively delete their comments so they're not, under the spotlight of, look at this idiot right here, look at this buffoon, look at this clown shoe. Sometimes they do actually respond and go, well, actually, I did watch the entire video. No, you didn't. I can tell you didn't, because you're saying things and making assumptions about things about what I said. I didn't actually say those things. Or, you're making assumptions about things I didn't address when I did address those later in the video. You clearly didn't watch the video. Or they'll come back and say, well, why would I bother watching their video? You're clearly misinformed. I couldn't be bothered sitting through all of that. If you think I'm so woefully misinformed that I'm not worth listening to, then why are you engaging in the first place? If you're not going to listen to half of the conversation, why are you trying to have a conversation? That's what I'm saying. The other one I get, and this one, it might be true, it might be just them trying to insult me, throw some shade, is, I literally couldn't get through your video. You're so boring to listen to. You go on so much. You take too many sides, or whatever it is. And that's fine too. I get it. My presentation style isn't for everybody. I get sidetracked easily. Again, I like to sort of take little pieces of context and metaphors and things like that just to try and inform as much as possible before I really, glue to the floor the idea that I'm trying to, get at in the video, the core of the video, the point, if you will. And to those people I say, well, if you're so bored by the stuff I'm saying, why are you trying to engage? If I'm bored by someone's video, I close the video and I go watch something else. I don't leave a comment trying to correct them about the first 3 minutes of the video where they may or may not have corrected themselves or added extra context or gotten to the point you're trying to, tell them, oh, you forgot to mention this. That's always a good one. You forgot about, no, I didn't. But it's the ones who choose not to watch the video and then leave a comment trying to correct me that seem the most ridiculous to me, because they're accusing me of ignorance. Like in yesterday's video, where a whole bunch of comments, and some I replied to, most of which I deleted. There were just so many, nearly identical comments. Actually, the developer said this and this and this. Well, yeah, I know. There's a screenshot of that tweet in the video, and I talked about it. But you didn't watch the video to get to that point, did you? And you're accusing me of being ignorant. You are being willfully ignorant. You are not waiting for all the information to be delivered before reacting to it. That is the definition of willful ignorance. You hypocrite. You ridiculous clown car of ignorance. And it always makes me think of that sort of classic little piece of wordplay, that little joke, if you will, that you'll see posted sometimes. And it states that Murphy's Law dictates that on the internet, the fastest way to find a correct piece of information is not to go searching for that information by researching, but it is to deliberately post the wrong answer and wait for someone to correct you. That will inevitably be much faster. And every single time I've seen some variation of that posted, bam, it's right there in the first set of comments. Well, actually, that's not Murphy's Law at all. That's Jonathan's Law. Missing the joke. The joke is Murphy's Law. You know what? If I have to explain it to you, then. And if you followed me on Twitter for long enough, you will have seen me once or twice a year petition them publicly. And I've also done this in emails, and I've also done this in sort of the bug reporting and feedback sections, and in the occasional surveys they put out and things like that. I always mention this. I want a feature on YouTube that will let me stop people commenting on a video they haven't actually watched all the way through. I want a little toggle. And when they get to type a comment, the post button is grayed out until they watch the video. Maybe with a little timer on there. You've got 3 minutes of the video left. You can't post until that's done. But YouTube won't do that because YouTube don't care about legitimate conversation. They only care about engagement. So they don't care that this garbage is being flooded into the comment sections that's irrelevant and stupid and ignorant. So after a few years of that, I changed tack and have started suggesting to YouTube that, okay, if you won't block people from commenting before they've actually watched the video, then how about this? How about you timestamp every comment with at what point in the video they typed that comment? Because that will expose them. They can still get their idiot ignorance out, but people will see. People can see that they left their comment 2 minutes in to a 12-minute video trying to correct me or anyone else out there. I would love that little feature. That way, they can still get their engagement, but it also helps us put their comment in context. It's like on Steam reviews. They have hours played. So you can put in context the person's reaction to that game. Because user reviews are... But it is another useful piece of information. You can see, well, this person's only played, 75 minutes of this game, which is a 30-hour game or something. Or you can see that this person has put in 100 hours of this game. So you can properly weight their opinions on that game based on how much time they've actually spent in it and how much of it they've actually legitimately explored. Or at least give you a hint in that direction. It's not always as cut and dried as that, but you know what I mean. But I want the timestamp comment. But this is the point in the video where I say, but what do you think? Begging for that engagement. Start listening for that, by the way. If you haven't noticed how many YouTubers do that. But what do you think? But what do you think? But what do you think? It's almost as bad as, without further ado, and once you start hearing people say that, you'll never stop hearing it because it's in so many videos out there. But without further ado, what do you think? Which option would you feel the most comfortable with? Not being able to comment at all until you've actually watched a video? Or just having your comment timestamped so people will know exactly at what point in the video you left that comment? And as a secondary question, although the kind of people I'm asking this question to probably wouldn't have watched to this point in the video, because that's the point we're talking about here. But why? Do you know why you do that? Why do you leave a comment on a video, especially a corrective comment, a well actually comment, or you forgot about comment, that kind of stuff? Why do you do that before absorbing all of the video instead of just going, well, this person's obviously on the wrong track. I can't be bothered listening to this, or well, this person's presentation is boring. I'll just go watch something else. Why do you feel the need to try and correct someone when you haven't even let them finish their sentence yet? What does that say about you? I honestly want you to think about that. And I honestly want you to think about how much I appreciate my patrons. So scrolling up above there, I really do appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. Just last night, I posted a little screenshot of some new Twitch emotes I've been working on. That's exciting Patreon content, isn't it? They're mostly there just to go above and beyond and help support me. And I really do appreciate that. You know I do. Thank you so much, guys. But without further ado,